Running backs, we start with Blake Corum, still 60% available, which surprises me with how much work he's gotten and probably being the most important insurance back potentially in the sport, Jay. Week 15, 11 carries, 71 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. Sean McVay getting both him and Kyren Williams involved, and we got to hear from Corum on how the running back room has played out.
The running back room in general, it starts with, Coach Ron G. He does a phenomenal job at, coaching us, on and off the field. Man, it's amazing. Ronnie, Jarquez, and then, me and Kyren, we have a great relationship. We push each other, to the limits. We want to see each other succeed. I get hyped when he breaks those long runs or runs someone over, or like that one where he bounced it all the way across the field. That gets me hyped, and, vice versa. And so, man, our running back room is special.
The Rams playing a massive division matchup against Seattle this week, Matthew. It's been surprising to see just how much work Corum is consistently getting, and he looks really good, and he's been efficient is the more important part.
He played 46% of the snaps last week. Like, he played only 5 fewer snaps than Kyren Williams, and Kyren Williams is a guy that we really like, but he's also a guy that gets hurt. This is the most shocking player available, just because if I had Kyren Williams, I would want to make sure I had Blake Corum.
You have to.
I mean, unless the answer is like everyone that drafted Kyren Williams didn't make the playoffs, but I find that hard to believe.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
right,
so it's just
bad.
like, no, but like, he's had 4 rushing touchdowns over the past 3 games. Like, we've talked about him. He is like Tyler Algier West. He is somebody that, gets you double-digit touches in a game with a decent shot at a touchdown. They like him in the red zone. Now, I understand you may not want to use him this week at Seattle, but they're at Atlanta next week. And for those that play in Week 18, they've got Arizona at home. And if the Rams clinch the number 1 spot, which is easy, to see, like, Corum could be like, a Joe McKnight, like a Week 18.
Throwback.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
a
good
Week
call.
18 superstar.
Right.
Because I could see Corum just getting all the work in a game where they rest Kyren Williams because they've clinched the number 1 seed.
Yep.
Yeah, he could also be a championship decider in that Monday night game against Atlanta next week. Now, the Seattle matchup is brutal, and a big thing about why Corum has been valuable is just this offense scores every possession. And if you're going to be sustaining drives, there's just more opportunity to get numbers. But I do think that this game coming up against Atlanta, who cannot stop the run to save their lives, that could be a big Blake Corum game.
Since week 7, he's gotten 40% of the red zone rush attempts for the Rams, and he's averaging double-digit touches a game. I mean, again, the fact that Kyren Williams is 100% rostered means Blake Corum needs to be 100% rostered. I can't believe we're having this conversation.
Raise the flags.
Yep.
Corum or Judkins, half-point PPR.
I still think it's Judkins because of the workload, but I'm so sick of Judkins.
And Buffalo. They're playing Buffalo.
Right.
You can run on Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm just so sick of Judkins.
I know.
It's not his fault, but every week it's like, check the box here. Quinshon Judkins has 17 carries and he's at 35 rushing yards.
Right.
He faces stacked boxes constantly.
I don't know that it's his fault. I still believe in Judkins' talent.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
Judkins will be fine. It's just a bad situation.
Yeah.
Our next one is Michael Carter. He's 95% available in Week 15. 14 carries for 56 yards.
Guys figure this one out.
Caught 4 passes for 38 yards. One note, Emari Demercado, 90% available. Jay, it's tough times if you have to try to rely on the roulette of this backfield every week.
Yeah, so we have one element of clarity, and the Bam Knight very unlikely to play. So now we're playing the Michael Carter or Emari Demercado game, which is a game where everyone loses. No one wins this game. But
America loses,
no one's seen Trey Benson in years, by the way.
Yeah, it's like playing Jumanji, and then you end up in the jungle, and then you hope to come back 30 years later. But I think that Michael Carter is the running back that you want of these two because of the workload last week. You just don't feel great about it.
Since Bam Knight's injury, he played 81% of the snaps. He's had 4 games with double-digit touches this year. He's averaging almost 13 fantasy points per game. And so Demercado does have some upside there, but I suspect that if you are desperate enough to want to start an Arizona running back, we think Michael Carter would be the answer to that unfortunate question.
All right, keeping it moving here, guys. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 52% available. He's coming off a week, obviously, with no Chris Rodriguez. 18 carries, 96 rushing yards. Just when we were out on Bill, Matthew.
He looked good.
He reappears, and he looks good, and now he kind of runs into the Philadelphia Eagles, though.
But you can run on Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that you can run on Philadelphia, and we'll get into it in a second, but Marcus Mariota is going to start for the Commanders this Sunday and for the rest of the season. And so, the offense is working fine on Mariota. Like, he's been fine.
Jaden Daniels didn't have a great year. Like, Mariota's worse than Daniels, but it's not like a massive drop-off like it would have been the year before.
1,000%. 3 of the past 4 games, the Eagles have given up at least 125 rushing yards. Cliff still calls a good game. The mobility of Mariota opens up some running lanes for. So I do think, assuming Chris Rodriguez is out, and we don't know that yet. He was inactive last week with a groin, and he went all the way up to game time, right? You know, he wanted to test it out pregame, and then ultimately he was a scratch. So I think there's a decent chance that C-Rod is back. But on the chance that he is not, I do think Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who had 18 touches last week, suddenly becomes interesting in a flex way against the Eagles, because I don't think they're going to want to throw against Philadelphia. I do think they're going to try to run as long as they can keep it somewhat close.
Welcome back, Audric Estime, to Waiver Wires.
And the last thing, before we move off the Commanders, I just want to say, so it is official. They've officially announced that they are shutting down Jaden Daniels for the year,
Yes.
Jay Croucher. I was right. I was vindicated.
Well,
This is what they should have done the entire time.
Delayed vindication.
I was
He
right
had to get hurt a second time.
I know. This is what I was saying. Don't put him out there because he's going to get hurt again. And everyone was like, oh, he's an NFL player. He should play. I'm like, the team is not there. The offensive line is not where you want it to be.
Yeah.
Why are you going to risk injury to a guy like?
You should give the same speech to Zach Taylor and the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Joe Burrow's going to play, but I think it's different. The only thing I can think of is that it is somewhat different in the sense that Jaden Daniels is still very young in his career, and this is a weird one for me, but I'm just curious. Do you think? I think this. But I'm a Commanders fan. I'm a Washington fan since I was 5 years old. Like, do you think that a lot of the narrative around Jaden Daniels is entirely because of Robert Griffin III, of RG3? RG3, Washington was in the quarterback desert for a long time. Here comes RG3, an electric rookie year.
Insane rookie year.
He wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. He leads Washington to the playoffs in the first time in forever. Suffers an ACL tear. Right? Just has a bad injury, and just was never the same, right? And now there's a lot of different theories on that. Some of it was like RG3 desperately wanted to be a pocket passer, and Mike Shanahan wanted to be, to use his legs more, and there was arguments about, his work habits, and did he do too many commercials after that rookie year, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? But he was never the same and he was, Heisman Trophy winner who was electric in that rookie year. And so now you get Jaden Daniels, who, again, mobile quarterback, electric rookie year.
Slender guy.
Right, that uses his legs, And so I think I will tell you, for talking from people inside the organization, they're like, Jaden Daniels is night and day from Robert Griffin.
I was going to say, I don't like that because Jaden Daniels is such a better processor and pocket passer.
Yes.
He runs because he can.
Yes.
And it's not to take away from RG3. He was one of the most dynamic athletes we've ever seen on an NFL field when you look at his track background. But Kyle Shanahan built that offense where it was the running opened up so much of the pass. I don't think you need to do that for Jaden Daniels. I think he's great in the pocket.
Do you think he took a step back this year? Because coming into the season, I would have said Jaden Daniels looked like the 5th best quarterback in football after Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow. And then now, he had an uneven season when he was out there, but it was uneven because he wasn't out there a lot, perhaps. You're working with a small sample size.
He wasn't out there a lot. McLaurin was hurt. There are a lot of things that just weren't there for him. But I agree with you. Like, you feel going into next year, you feel less good about Jaden Daniels than you did at the start of this year. And so but I just wonder if the caution around Daniels from the organization and from people like me, whatever, I'm just a stupid fan, yelling, but is because of we have this RG3
play into it somewhat.
Like PTSD kind of built into it. Yeah, I think so. I don't. I think it's a ridiculous comp to make. Footballer, talk about a gallant effort. Barry playing through the illness for the people, for the people.
Yeah, because Barry was at the Jags bar on the weekends watching
drinking the
Jags
teal
Jets.
juice.
Yeah, you can't go to that place without contracting a disease.
The truth is, I think you're a brawler, and I would always fight through the illness. The problem is that I actually don't feel sick. Like my throat doesn't hurt, my nose isn't stuffy. It's just my voice is shot because I've just been talking a ton for the last 2 weeks. So, maybe, I don't know, not going to say it now. All of a sudden
famous last words.
Right, exactly. But yeah,
well, you should start breathing on Connor to kind of figure
just
it
be
out.
you sitting here by yourself.
I regret
Wednesday show.
I regret us making out before the show.
Yeah,
Jay. That was unfortunate.
That was a bad move.
I apologize. Yeah.
I'll be here with
and your
Lawrence
kids.
tomorrow. All right, our next backfield here, guys. The Saints with Devin Neal leaving
Anyway,
this
they're
game.
shutting down Jane. It's going to be
Yes, Jane Daniels is not playing. Audric Estime, 99% available. Yeah, welcome back, Audric Estime to waivers. We're happy to see you. I'm happy to see you.
Poster boy of NFL Draft Exchange.
Yes,
right?
that's right. He is the face of the show forever. They play the Jets.
Yep.
Jets aren't very good on defense, amongst many things. He only had 3 carries last week. He did catch 3 passes, which is bizarre because that's not really what you think of with Audric Estime. Evan Hull played a little bit, has bounced around the league for a while. I mean, to me, if Devin Neal's not healthy, Matthew, I would think it would be Estime that becomes the guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little risky to start this guy, but it is like sometimes these are desperate times, and so for deeper leagues, it's interesting. Hands up if you knew Audric Estime was even on the Saints, right? I mean, like
I thought that. What happened to Cam Akers? Cam Akers was on the team.
I thought it was
at
on
one
the
point.
Broncos practice squad. Anyway, so but Audric Estime getting an opportunity. Yeah, we know Kamara's not coming back. Devin Neal left this game with an injury, and so you prefer Estime to Evan Hull if you are banking on a Saints running back this week. Ran twice as many routes as Evan Hull, so they're using him on third down, and so given the fact that we think they will be passing somewhat, you could do worse than Audric Estime.
7-10, loading. Saints gonna have a better
Here
record than the
comes.
Kansas City Chiefs this year.
Man, the Saints could win 6 of their last 8. That's amazing.
It's like it's. Remember when Kyle Shanahan won his final 6 games or whatever? I think it was his rookie year, his first year coaching the Niners. Everyone was just like, "What's going on? What's going on?"
Yeah. No, they trade for Jimmy G. Yeah. What a sentence, by the way. You prefer Estime to Evan Hull. It's just terrifying.
It's funny when you go back and look at your rankings. I had Evan Hull in 2023 as RB19, 1 spot in front of RB20 Chris Rodriguez Jr.
Yeah,
That was a miss. That's when you miss. Chris Rodriguez is a much better player than Evan Hull. But it's just funny when you go back into the Rolodex and you're like, what? So here we are.
But the other thing is, we're all over the place today. But the thing is, I just want to say this about what Connor, what you do, and what all the people that study the draft and do these rankings are. So much that you can't predict in terms of scheme, coaching, offensive environment.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the Football Night in America pod around Patrick Mahomes, and we were talking about, and what goes with. It was a whole conversation around the Chiefs, right? In terms of like, well, does Kelsey retire? Andy Reid's like 70. Does he? What happens? Like, how long does it take Mahomes to get back? So we had this whole football discussion about the Chiefs. Fine, but what I just said is, we were just talking about Andy Reid and Mahomes, and I said, listen. I'm a big, Patrick Mahomes, one of the great quarterbacks of all time, first ballot Hall of Famer if he does nothing else for the rest of his career. My argument is that Patrick Mahomes, if he goes to any other team, if he doesn't go to Andy Reid, I think he's still probably brilliant, but I don't think he's Patrick Mahomes, capital letters, 3 Super Bowls, face of the NFL.
The run they had. Yeah.
The run they had, because that's Andy Reid, and I'm like, and so if Andy Reid decided to retire, that's a huge loss for the Chiefs and everything like that. And the last thing I said is like, the Andy Reid argument isn't Patrick Mahomes, by the way. The Andy Reid argument, who I also think is a first ballot Hall of Famer, the Andy Reid argument is Kevin Cobb, is Mike Kafka, is Jeff Garcia, is the fact that he was able to get production out of these quarterbacks that candidly were never good anywhere else.
Right.
Alex Smith was like a fringe top 6-7 quarterback.
Went to the playoffs.
Went to the play with Andy Reid. And so that's my point. It's like, so Patrick Mahomes going anywhere else, I think, is probably a good quarterback, but not,
what they built.
What they built.
Special. It was special.
Yeah, I mean, Peyton Manning was always going to be great, but Peyton Manning benefited from the fact that he went to the Colts and had Tom Moore for 18 years. Like, he was in the same
supporting
system
cast
for 18 years. And he had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. And, like, that's
what made what Jaden Daniels did last year so impressive, because it's not like it was the most amazing context in the world. It was okay, but the O-line was bad, and he had Terry McLaurin and nothing else, really.
He's going to get Cliff Kingsbury another head coaching job with the year he had.
It's unbelievable, right? But, like Bo Nix. Bo Nix goes to any other team.
Sean Payton fit to a T.
Right?
Right. And
So
we've seen the highs and lows of that already.
Right. And so my point is like when you sit here like, wow, I had Evan Hull over Chris Rodriguez. Like, it's all a lot of it in terms of what team do they go to, and does that team, that coaching staff, that offensive or defensive environment fit what that player does well.
That's all right. Connor had a bad miss on Evan Hull. It happens to the best of us.
I apologize to the public. RB19 should have been RB20. Top running back targets here, guys. The deeper league ads. Jawar Jordan, of course, this is all dependent on the status of Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, and kind of could be very well be a one-off week. Jaleel McLaughlin and Tyler Beatty, both against Jacksonville's the best run defense in football, by the way.
Yeah.
So you're desperate times there.
Super desperate. R.J. Harvey left the fourth quarter with a rib injury. So just again, it is that, it is week 16. Teams are beat up, and so you might be scrapping through the waiver wire to find somebody with a pulse. But I think the most important thing is just like a lot of these guys are getting an opportunity because of injuries, whether it's to R.J. Harvey or Woody Marks or Devin Neal, which brings us to the fact that you need insurance running backs.
You absolutely do.
Just don't go to the waiver wire trying to beat out somebody else to grab your guy. It's why we talk up Blake Corum so much, and then you sit here and go, all right, Kyle Algier behind, Bijan, obviously. Chris McCaffrey's back up with Brian Robinson. Sean Tucker in case anything happens to Bucket Irving. Devin Singletary with Tyrone Tracy. On and on and on.
That's absolutely right. And we've seen with Devon Achane when he leaves the game,
it's
2 weeks
Wright.
ago. It's Jalen Wright. So, yeah, at this point in the season, you need to have your workhorse running backs insured.
I picked up Malik Davis last week. I don't have Javonte Williams, but then Javonte Williams left the Sunday night game with a shoulder injury. And I was just like, oh, do I have the starting Cowboys running back this week? And then Javonte Williams came back.
Yep.
But Malik Davis, we think that if something were to happen to Javonte, if during the week that shoulder injury acts up again.
Wow, it seems like you're putting that out in the air with an evil grin on your face.
I'm kind of
What's
hoping.
wrong with you?
Stop
How long
killing
do you
people
have?
off.
What's wrong with me? How long do you have?
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.